Welcome back, everybody, to the BlueBird Mini League season. This is season 1, so the first one of its kind, and we are now already having our 6 teams for our mini series. It's going to be Hazard, Trash, Southern Stars, who qualified last week in qualifying number 1, and this week it's going to be 6-Man's Battalion, Max's Rancid Rats, and now Relentless being qualified through for game, also qualifier day 2. I am, of course, your host, Son of Jupiter, and joining me is the man, the myth, the legend, but not so much a myth. He is definitely here. It is Tito. How are you doing?
I don't know. Have you ever seen me in real life?
I have not, to be fair.
Exactly. You've never seen me and you in the same room, so...
This is true. This is very true, chat.
Could still be a myth. I could be like an AI bot that's got beautiful speaking. Anyway, that's irrelevant. You'll never know if I'm real or not, so whatever. These guys are now competing for, I think it was a $30 prize pool between the 6-Man's Battalion and Max's Rancid Rats.
Exactly. So right now they're competing for a $30 prize pool. That's just, just to kind of give them that little sense of achievement that they were the winners of today's qualifier. Obviously, we already know that they are progressing through, and they're way too eager to get through. I was hoping to have a little bit more of a chat, but we'll get them reset because unfortunately they were a little bit too quick. Lurky put in permission to join, and then everyone just took the join word as gospel and was like, yes, let's go. So we're going to restart it quickly, but that gives me time to talk about the teams that we have here. We've already seen 6-Man's Battalions, which is Daisu, Kia, and Lurky, with Mock as their super sub. We saw them as our first series, but we're now seeing this next team, which is Max's Rancid Rats, which is a team that had so much potential so many moons ago in a couple of seasons, and they have reformed together with Steve, Frenzy, and Delusion. So the original lineup previously were Team Esper, but no longer under that org, so they're back to their original name. But this is a team that did so many good things in the RLCS league play season that you honestly think that they're going to be a massive team to try and get past. But to be fair to 6-Man's Battalion, Daisu, Kia, and Loki definitely have the potential to cause an upset. It just depends on how much we've seen from Max's Rancid Rats. They were not allowed to participate in any tournament events, so how much have they really been playing? We don't know just yet, but this could be a massive tell on how well they're going to do.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what they're capable of doing, because, I mean, they did really well against basically all the teams they came up against today. They 3-0'd Alardis Gaming. They 3-0'd Relentless. So they've got a win streak going. And it's going to be a rough time for 6-Man's because, I mean, 6-Man's, they did rather well. They did 3-0 against Orgless and 3-1 against Fury. And, I mean, Fury is a tough team to come up with, come up against. So they definitely did well there. But I feel like Max's Rancid Rats are a totally different beast.
They are. I feel like they definitely have the potential to be the next level above. It's just obviously whether they've been practicing and having the same team dynamic since having their minor breaks. So hopefully we get to see the Max's Rancid Rats of old, but time will tell. The one thing I want to point out at the moment is this is for a $30 match, but we do have our context.gg crowdfunded amount of $250 for the mini league, which is starting next week. So if you want to donate to that, !donate in the channel to help with the prize pool for next week. But until then, we've got the gameplay now. We have the Rats on orange and we have 6-Man's Battalion on blue, and already they're going head to head.
I'm expecting big things from Delusion, but purely because he's on the Batmobile. Oh my gosh. Okay, Steve. All right. Unstoppable goal.
Just already coming out of the bat swing. It looks like he's going for the air dragon. Bumps Lurky out of the way, coming through with a great start. And you did mention that we have Delusion on the Batmobile, but he has been a plank player for quite some time. Whether it's the Batmobile, whether it's the Paladin, which we could be seeing later in this series, he is definitely a very solid plank player and we'll definitely see some really good options here. But it's going to be Lurky with the follow-through. He was the one to get bumped in the goal last play, and he goes, nope, I'm not going down. I'm going to go for a solo play myself, and equalizes very quickly.
Yeah, maybe he could have passed over to his teammate, but, you know, a goal's a goal, and as we said before, they're playing it beautifully, and it's a fairly even game coming out right off the bat, but we're only 15 seconds in.
Exactly, 15 seconds in, 2 goals down. So this could potentially be a very high-scoring match. But we will have to mention to the chat as well that they have been sitting and waiting for the previous series to play. They were both already in the grand final, but they had to wait for our third-place tiebreaker to be completed before they were able to play. So the break could potentially cause a few extra mistakes that we're not used to seeing, but hopefully we have that sorted out as time goes on, as we see Frenzy taking a shot. No way the defender could get to that, and they reclaim the lead.
Okay, I thought Steve got a flip reset off that one and then instantly used it to get a pass over, but no, that's not what happened. It was still a beautiful play coming out from all members of the Rancid Rats, playing that one beautifully, getting the 1-2 touches. They play like a beautiful team.
They do. They have such great team synergy, and that's what's really worked for them when they were under the belt of Team S, but they just had really, really good control, and it has not fallen away from what we've seen. We see Frenzy taking a beautiful shot there and just extending the lead to 3. Nothing really there, just Delusion getting a nice little passing play. Frenzy with the follow, and that's a goal.
Yeah, I mean, that angle was hard to hit as well, but Frenzy makes it look easy as cake is to eat.
The one thing that I like that Max's Rancid Rats are doing is they're enticing faster play. They have very, very good control, very good ability to read the game, and that causes the other team or the opposition to play a little bit faster than they necessarily need to. If they focus on those really good rotations, they'll be able to be in the right place at the right time. But to be fair, you do have to beat out Steve, who is incredibly gifted on the ball. Gets a nice little dish to Delusion, pops it off the backboard. Kia having to get a nice touch, but manages to put it into the favor of Steve now, who's just collected mid boost, goes for the solo play, but can't quite connect.
Yeah, but it seems like they're driving circles around the team of the 6-man's battalion. They got a lot more pace, and it doesn't matter. Kia's going to be able to take another goal to his name.
All right, just a nice little solo play, beats out the defender there, gets the dunk, and then instantly challenges this ball, which Lurky would have been beaten to, by the way, if Lurky was the one to go for that. So nice little solo play from Kia.
Yeah, it's not a goal steal if the goalkeeper was going to get to the ball beforehand. But Lurky now going for the solo dribbles. Beautiful flick over one of them, but Steve is ready for that one. And he gets demoed.
I like the way Steve played that, though. He decided to keep it close and go for the second touch. Manages to get over the defender, gets demoed, but manages to, get a bit of an outplay and put so much pressure onto this front line here as Desu has to get a touchdown to Kia. Delusion going for the infield pass where Frenzy is directly waiting. Goes for the ground play, but can't quite get the angle.
Beautiful hook shot coming out from them, but not enough pace to get that into the back of the net. However, they are still a goal ahead. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Frenzy in possession of the ball. Never mind, in comes Lurky. Going to see if he can take any advantage to be able to get it over the heads of the Rancid Rats. And now the Rancid Rats are put on the back foot in terms of putting a goal in the back of the net.
Exactly right. There's still many opportunities for 6-man to get back into this. That could have been the opportunity, but Frenzy, nerves of steel, does not jump for the ball and goes for the solo play, fakes out the touch there, but decides to continue on the ground play. Has caused a massive, massive rift there. And double commit coming through for 6-man battalion is pretty much giving away that offensive play.
Yeah, 6-man's actually playing this rather well still. They are now not looking as scrambled as we saw in the first minute or two of the game, and even though they did score a goal early on, it still looked like the Rancid Rats were driving circles around them, as we said before, but now they seem a little bit more calculated. They seem a little bit more in control of what they're doing.
Definitely, they have kind of cleaned up their defense a little bit and really stopped the attacking presence of the Rats, but still, you need to be aware of where they are because they can set up an attack at any given time, just like that. Frenzy gets the bump, stays relevant in the midfield off the pass from Steve, and slots in the fourth.
Yeah, but look at this shot. Just right off the back of his car. Beautiful spot. Frenzy showing what it's capable of. 2 goals ahead with a minute and a half left. The Rancid Rats, they take this 2-goal advantage.
They do indeed. So a very nice start for them in this first match, which is, again, is still a best of 5. So there's definitely at least 3 games, if not more, being played. So a bit of breathing room for a team if they do manage to drop game number 1, but they don't want to drop more than 2 in a row. Otherwise, it will be a difficult comeback, especially against the team that's taking it. Steve now taking control. Tries to go for the dunk, manages to get it and move the ball forward, and now Frenzy, look at the confidence in his positioning there, just coming off the roof to get that dunk, and Max's Rancid Rats are not letting go.
No, they definitely aren't, and they were playing rather aggressive there. Daisu, great dribble, tries to get a beautiful fake out of there, but he's not going to be able to do so. Frenzy putting it right across goal. A little bit of a fake coming out from them. Not going to be able to do so. Steve keeping pressure up. That's going straight to net. Beautiful passing plays, but Loki reads it like a book.
Loki does read it, and there's a little bit of time for them to try and get on the play, but the cut by Frenzy works out in favor. Does get demo, but keeps the ball away from the goal line of Max's Rancid Rats. And now with 10 seconds remaining, this is looking very, very dire. They need to score right now, but Frenzy just reads every single play and keeps that ball away. And this is where they're able to capitalize and close out this match. 1 second, there is no luck for 6-man battalions to get back into this. There is going to be the ball dropping and the Rats taking game 1.
Yeah, well, as we said before, the Max's Rancid Rats were a hard team to come up against. And I do think that 6-man battalion, once they picked up what they needed to do, they started being able to play up against the Rancid Rats. But early on, I feel like that's where they got most of their goals and most of their lead, is based on the amount of aggression they showed off in that early game. So I do think now that the 6-mans are a little bit more comfortable with their play style and playing against the Rancid Rats, might be a little bit more of an even game coming into game 2.
I definitely feel like this could potentially even up. I feel that 6-man battalions were not completely out of it, but they really need to focus on shutting down Frenzy. He was just everywhere and anywhere at the right place at the right time. He has been always a massive link to the success of the Rats, and that is not anything to take away from today as well. He's exactly the same MVP for that match with 3 goals, so definitely something to take away from there.
Yeah, well, now going into the second game, we'll see if they're going to be able to bring this one back. 6-man battalion do have to be careful of Frenzy. As we said, the Rancid Rats, maybe he isn't a carry, but he definitely is doing a lot for them. Had 3 goals off the back of that first game. They do have to be very careful of maybe, yeah, as you said, shutting him down.
Exactly, and nice little start there for 6-man battalions, but the rotations for Steve in play. Now he's got a bit of boost away, can't quite get the carry, but Delusion just confidently following up the right place at the right time, forcing out a touch there by Lurky, and that allows Frenzy to continue to be on this ball. He's just so dynamic with the way he plays, can literally get to the ball from anywhere in the field, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
Yeah, well, Lurky picks up the corner boost, gets off the wall, but that's put right in front of goal. They do have to be very dangerous of that bounce. Oh, so unfortunate to hit the crossbar.
Already some good signs coming out from Max's Rancid Rats, but 6-man battalions holding for now. We see Daisu going for a shot. Actually, it's a crossbar, but doesn't get rewarded for the goal. Delusion now just floating dangerously on the goal line. Manages to have support from Steve and takes the ball away, but he has no boost to work with. Has to go for a low 50, but can't do it. And the ball locked for now inside this orange side of the field. Frenzy can't manage to get it. A massive overcommit here for the side of Max's Rancid Rats, but they still are managing to hold strong from this barrage of attacks by 6-mans.
Delusion, he's got one defender right in front of him. Steve, beautiful teamwork play coming out from them, and they take the first goal of the game too.
Absolutely insane transition on their counterplay. They forced out a touch there by Kia, and then the cut by Delusion just far enough to get past the oncoming defense there. So a really good transition after being barraged with attacks from 6-mans.
Yeah, and the counterattack is definitely one of their strong points, especially coming out of game 1. But the shot from Frenzy is on point, on par, and brings them to 2 goals ahead.
The floodgates are open now, and you can see the confidence of Max's Rancid Rats. You had Delusion and Steve both sitting on the backboard there waiting for that higher pass to come down so they could snipe it in, but there was no option needed. They do manage to get the goal quite quickly, And this is a very good 2-goal lead for the side of Max's Rancid Rats. We almost see Daisu there getting a consolation goal for their first, but he couldn't quite get the angle down, and he would definitely be kicking himself there. But this could be an option. Shot coming out, but still they managed to get to the save.
Delusion puts himself in a good spot to go for that save, but his teammate, however, I do think saved that one from going into the net. The recovery from Delusion is good, but they do need to get a pinch going. Oh my gosh.
Exactly as you called it, it came into fruition. We could see that being set up from a mile away, and the confidence of this team and their synergy is just unlike none other. And even there, wow, what a save coming through from Frenzy, I believe, and just keeps them scoreless at the moment. Nothing Six-Man Battalions can do at this point. They're doing everything right, but they're just not being credited with the goals on the board.
Yeah, it's a confident game coming out from Max's Rancid Rats, but I mean, I feel like they deserve it. They are 2 goals ahead. They're playing so comfortably right now, and I do feel like the Six-Man Battalion is falling a little bit far behind in terms of their momentum.
I definitely would have to agree. They feel like they're just a little bit slower to the ball, but that's just because of how awkward and how fast this Max's Rancid Rats team are being to the ball. They're so confident in their first touch that they're able to put on dangerous shots like this, and Frenzy collecting his own ball off the backboard for his 3rd goal.
Yeah, an easy one coming out from him. A great clear coming out from Frenzy, getting it off their backboard, putting a lot of pace onto it, and then he's going to be able to just roll himself towards the other end of the goal and tap that in for a beautiful 3-goal advantage. 2 minutes left.
Comfortable position for the Rats to be in now with little under 2 minutes to go, and there's a bit of boost to work with for Delusion. Nice touch there by Lurky. That was very awkward, but he manages to get just enough of his car on it to get it to the corner, and now Rats having to be on the defense, although they do link up beautifully to get a long clear back onto their offensive side. Steve putting it into the middle. Delusion challenging as fast as possible, and Steve almost getting to that, but not enough boost in the tank to manage a touch. Frenzy following through a double commit there by the side of Six-Mans won't work in their favor, as Steve linking up with Delusion actually leaves the ball for Frenzy, who takes the shot down to Steve,
no.
But it doesn't have any angle. It bounces straight up and down, and that could have been a 4th.
It's the thought that counts. He did put that ball right in front of goal, and I mean, you could just say it's a pass, but we all knew he was trying to take the shot there.
Jeez, the confidence of where these guys play, it's unbelievable. The touches here, you see Delusion to Steve to Delusion in for the goal. They're just so efficient at the way they play. It's going to be a massive ask for them to dethrone this Max's Rancid Rat side.
Yeah, they're playing rather well, so they do really have to be careful as to what they pull off into this 3rd game, because I really don't think that they're going to be able to bring this game back, but I think that if they do want to take game 3, 4, 5, they need the momentum shift, and that starts with this game. Not necessarily winning the game, but changing the momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Having the momentum shift to put something dangerous on field. We're seeing some shots working in their favor, but they're just not accurate enough to be dangerous, and this is where we have to call into question how efficient they're going to be. As we see Daisu actually doing well there, managing to stay on the ball, but again, nothing dangerous for the Rats to really deal with, and they're able to keep that again. Oh no. Oh, I really feel for this Battalion team. The crossbar blocking their shot 3 times in a row now.
I feel like they're just a little bit nervous to... It just seems like they're nervous to put a couple of goals on net, shots on net, because... Oh, what? Okay, I thought I was going straight for goal, but just a good clear coming out from them. It just seems like they're scared almost.
Honestly, it's so hard to break down what they could be improved on, because they're not playing badly. I feel like Six-Man Battalions are still being effective on the ball. They're still having some presence, but the Rats just seem to be on another level. We did mention this at the beginning of this series. They just have so much more control. They're able to get more awkward touches that they can then follow up so quickly to get around the players of Six-Man Battalions. And that's where they're separating themselves in terms of gameplay. They're just being way more efficient in terms of where they want to put the ball and being able to collect it on the return.
Yeah, and utilizing that, they're just pushing every advantage they have and just capitalizing on it every single time. Because, like, if we look at it, a lot of their goals came from their confidence, right? Because they push up really far, and I do feel like Six Man's Battalion need to shut that down early because, yeah, they're getting a lot of this confidence because they have space, they got time to do so, and the Six Man's Battalion maybe need to shut that down early.
They do. I feel like the quicker they can shut down the Rats, the more presence they're going to have on the field. If they give any time and space, especially to Frenzy, they're going to be punished for it pretty much. So they need to just, you know, try and be a little bit more effective on their rotation. But again, there's not a lot that they're doing wrong. It just happens to be that the Rats are just, you know, so awkward that it's working to their advantage.
Yeah. And definitely it will work for you if no one can predict what you're doing, where the ball's going. Beautiful clear coming out from Kia, though.
Exactly right, and it's going to be a bit of an interesting start for the Rats. They're on the back foot for the first time, as we see a couple of plays for Six Man Battalions coming through. There's a shot again, but the crossbar just not being in their favor. They still managed to get a block on after a barrage attacks from this battalion side.
These goalkeepers are amazing. They stopped every single shot for the past 5 minutes and maybe even more. And then off the back of that, they send it all the way down the other end and almost put a shot on net.
Exactly, the shot on net coming through, but there's going to be a quick return almost for Max's Rancid Rats getting a goal there, but they cut the angle a little bit too fine and it wasn't able to go in. Still some pressure building for the battalion side, but they'll have to get over Frenzy, who links up with Steve. He decides to pull out for the challenge, so good awareness there to not overcommit to the play, and now we're still at a 0-0 scoreline.
A beautiful shot coming out from Loki, looking at that backboard touch and seeing that one of the players was out of their rotation, looking a little bit aggressive. That leaves an open goal, and missed rotations allows them to be able to score an easy first goal.
I mean, a great start for Six Man Battalions to get back into this match, considering they didn't really have a leg up in the previous two. Just to remind everyone, it is a best of 5, so there is the potential now for Max's Rancid Rats to sweep this grand final series and take away the $30 prize pool. But at the same time, there's everything on the line for the Six Man Battalions to try and get back into this series.
Yeah. So they do need to make sure that they do seem to have momentum a little bit in their favor because they have a 1 goal up, but we know that it's going to take a lot more than just a 1 goal buffer to stop the Rancid Rats from taking any goal back. And look at the pressure. Look at the passing plays.
I mean, look at that first touch coming from Steve. He was on the wall there, manages to get a perfect little pop for Frenzy to follow through. And then look at this solo play, almost directly goes over the defensive line there. And they're just, that's what I'm talking about in terms of their awkward touches. They're so good at touching the ball to their own advantage and being very unpredictable.
Yeah, it is a beautiful display of mechanical skill. However, Frenzy now seeing if he can send it down the other way. This ball is for you, Steve, touching it over to his teammate. But does look like they're not going to be able to get anything off the back of that attack. However, it doesn't mean that they're going to stop trying. That's off the backboard.
It's off the backboard, but Delusion with the follow through goes into the corner, but Steve is already there. Gets another touch, which is going to go down to the advantage of Frenzy, but Frenzy decided to go all the way back to boost. Probably the safer option at the moment, as they are only 1 goal down and there's still a little over 2 minutes remaining in this match for them to get back into it. But it's going to be some good pressure coming out from the battalion side as Kia challenges the ball.
Oh, that pass. Delusion, that almost did them dirty, but Kia, good shot. Gets a hook. I didn't think Delusion had that one, but honestly, he's got more knowledge about this game than I do. Look at 2 minutes left on the clock. Let's see if they're going to be able to bring this one back, or if they potentially might even go to a game 4, because, look, Six Mans are holding this one strong.
They are indeed, and technically speaking, if they cannot concede another goal here, they can walk away with the victory. So there's every opportunity for them to push this out to a game 4 and potentially a game 5 after that, as long as they, you know, play as solidly as possible and take the time and possession away from this Max's Rancid Rats side. As we see Delusion going straight across field, Daisu taking a touch to advantage, but Frenzy's reading it, actually decides to leave it for Steve. So good communication coming from them to leave the ball in awkward positions, but oh, the trust on where the ball was going from Delusion made me worry there for a second.
Yeah. Delusion, he reads the ball. He reads it beautifully. He knows where it's going. That one's going near net. They're seeming a lot more aggressive coming out from the side of the six-man battalion, but it does leave it for a 1v1. Daisu has all the control there. He's going to be fine. And yeah, they've got earlier challenges, and it's looking good for them to be able to bring this game back and hold on to this lead.
Exactly right. Now they only have to hold on for 45 seconds, and they'll have an opportunity to bring this super potential Game 5 upset. As we see the ball going straight across the side of the field, and it's going to be Delusion now taking control of the ball. He's going for a bit of an outplay, can't quite get the dunk, but Frenzy, will manage to keep the ball moving forward. But I feel like the rotations of the six-man battalions is so much more confident than in Game 1.
Yeah, you can see it in the pace that they're rotating as well. That's right in front of goal. That's easy for Loki to be able to take that one. 20 seconds left, and they have this third game in the bag.
Could be a potential upset here, but also there is a kickoff. So if a kickoff goal can happen quite quickly, then there is the potential for them to equalize. It is a very high risk, but we've seen crazier things in Rocket League. It's very, very easy to have these opportunities. As we see Steve now taking control, is going to set up for the double, puts it up for his team. But the overcommit there by Max's Rancid Rats was warranted, but does cost them dearly as a shot does come through. Lurky trying to put it in, can't quite do so, and Max's Rancid Rats will not concede another one, but they do drop their first match in this entire run to the six-man battalion, so a little life back in this series.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of life back coming out into the six-man's battalion, and I mean, looking at the first two games, I thought for sure the Rancid Rats were going to take it to a 3-0, but the six-mans, they've proved us wrong. They've shown us that they are now capable of bringing this one back, and hopefully, we might be able to see some more games. But it does mean that we are moving on to Game 4 with a 2-for-1. Still in favor of the Rancid Rats, but we'll see if they're going to be able to bring this one back.
Exactly. Hopefully they are, because we always love to see those Game 5 nail-biters between two juggernauts of teams, as these both can be. There's some big names in this matchup with Daisu, Kia, and Lurky on one side, Frenzy, Delusion, and Steve on the other. So definitely can go either way, but time will tell. Do we see the Maxed Rancid Rats hold strong and close out this series, or can six-man battalions rise up to the occasion and try and pull this to a Game 5?
Definitely time will tell for that one, but the Rancid Rats definitely just want to close this out. That's their main aim. They want to score as many goals as possible, get that confidence back, and take it away from the six-man's battalion to be able to take this Game 4 away from them. And let's see what Steve can do.
Steve with the ball now, trying to get a little bit of an outplay. Can't quite do so, but it does work out in favor for Daisu, who does go for a bit of a shot. Kia trying to get a bump onto Frenzy, which would have led to the goal, but couldn't quite get the read. And Frenzy just holding strong on the back line for now. Lurky taking a touch. Steve manages to get a pass down to Illusion Story, who then gets a beautiful following touch, but can't quite get it past the defender.
Yeah, great control coming out from Steve, but the six-mans are playing aggressive. Beautiful flick. He's not going to be able to take out Steve as the last man, but they are playing an aggressive game, and it really seems to be working in their favor so far, but they haven't been able to pull it off successfully yet.
Exactly. The aggression will be adapted to quite quickly, and I do feel like it will work in their favor. Daisu, how did he not get credited for that goal? It literally hit the crossbar and out. So unfortunate for Daisu tonight. He has not been able to get anything into the net as far, and that will be a bit of a missed opportunity there. But just a reminder for everybody that this grand final, both these teams will have qualified for the mini league series for BlueBirds. It's now just a $30 prize pool that's on the line for these players.
Yeah, and they're playing like their life depends on it, and I love the sort of spunk they've put into their playing, and it's great to see the competitiveness, even though they've already gone through and qualified.
Exactly right. You love to see that professional integrity for the players to come through, everything on the line for them at this point in time. As we see Daisu going for a nice little air drag there, does manage a few extra touches, but there's many members of the Rats back there and waiting, so there should be an easy clear. Double commit there by Steven Delusion, but won't get punished. Delusion deciding to go away from the ball out. Steve and Frenzy to come through, and Frenzy with a beautiful commit will get the first goal.
Yeah, they finally take the early advantage, even though it's 2 minutes in the game already. That waterfall was just a hard ball to read, but Frenzy reads it so beautifully. He looks at it, and he takes the ball away from the 6-man battalion, and now they have a goal advantage.
The goal advantage going towards the Rats in this potential last match for them, as we see Steve just getting a nice little wave dash past the defender, but they weren't sold on it too far. They were able to keep that ball locked into the orange side of the field, but that could have been a runaway goal for Steve if he managed to get it. Now Daisu taking a challenge, doesn't have any boost to work with, so he forced out a touch by Lurky, but he's not able to cut the angle.
Yeah, beautiful drop coming out from them. That hits the net, that hits the crossbar actually. Daisu taking the first goal for his team.
Well done for Daisu, finally manages to put one on, doesn't hit the crossbar this time, and he's able to equalize for his team very close to this halfway mark.
Oh my gosh. Definitely a much closer game than what we saw in the first two kickoff goal. Does look like potential there. Very awkward bounce coming out from the side of the 6-man battalion, but they should be able to utilize this one and keep it up into this side of the Rancid Rats.
Hopefully so, as Daisu again just having everything tonight in this match. The game 4 just seems to be his bread and butter, and he's able to get a second goal very, very quickly.
Yeah, they're playing this one really well. I love the amount of pace they're putting into this one, and they're definitely coming back into this. And you know what? There's so much potential for a reverse sweep here, the way they're playing. Yes. Jupiter, I think you muted Mike, but they are still going real ham, and Delusion trying to get the aggressive play going, but they're not going to be able to get anything off the back of that. Really aggressive plays coming out from the Rats, seeing if they can bring this one back, but I don't know. They don't have the rotations back yet.
They don't just yet, but there will be the opportunity now through Steve. He goes for a little low fake, manages to get the ball moving forward, but Kia is there in the right position to get that ball past the halfway line. Daisu getting the ball there as well, but we're just seeing a bit of an interesting side from Rats, but they're feeling a little bit more uncomfortable than we've seen. But that, again, is just 6-man battalion stepping up and being super awkward and aggressive on the play.
Yeah, definitely so. But now in control, Steve. I'd say they're in control, but not necessarily, because a very aggressive play is coming out there from the Rancid Rats, and they're just challenging these 50-50s a lot earlier than what we've seen than what we saw in the first two games. And it really seems to be taking a toll on how the Rancid Rats are, you know, playing.
Definitely would have to agree that the Rats are playing a little bit more awkwardly here, and that's one of the things that the awkward plays can sometimes be a fault in the gameplay if it's not being done efficiently. We do see Lurky challenging the ball into the midline there, but no one following through for 6-man battalions. But they do have a comfortable lead, so all they have to do now is make sure they don't leak any lives, as we see a beautiful 50 challenge there by Kia to move that ball forward.
Yeah, and they are getting some passing plays back going from the 6-man, but these touches are a little bit hard coming out from the Rancid Rats. They're just looking for this one goal. All they need is one. Tries to get a touch off, but these backboard saves are a little bit too clean for them to be able to do anything about it. The rotations in the defense as well, just a bit too much for them to be able to do anything with it. Oh, too close though.
It is very, very close. We're in single digits now on the clock. Can they see a last-second goal opportunity? We do see Delusion putting it in a great place for Frenzy, who is looking to drop it down, but the touch there does mean that 6-man battalions do bring it back, and what a match for them to get back into this series.
Yeah, 2-for-1 scoreline in favor of the 6-man battalion. This is so much potential for them to be able to, well, I mean, they're on the edge of reverse sweeping this one. It's way too close to tell who's going to be able to take this one now. But I do think that the 6-man battalion have that little advantage to bring it even further.
I definitely would have to agree. They're playing very, very solid. There's very minimal stakes that are being capitalized on by the Rats now. So they're just, it seems like 6-man battalions are able to adapt very, very quickly. And to the credit to them, they're playing very strong as well.
Yeah, they're definitely playing very strong. They're definitely relying on their teammates a lot more now in terms of the rotations, in terms of trusting their teammates for defending the ball, getting up for those challenges, making sure your teammates are right behind you to support you if you don't make that challenge properly.
Exactly right. So they're doing quite a strong challenge, but there's an opportunity there for Steve, who manages to get the first goal for this Max's Rancid Rats off again, just Frenzy being very adaptive to the play, gets a bit of an awkward touch there, and Steve follows through.
Yeah, and they take that early advantage. Rancid Rats, they want to utilize this one, get the momentum shift going, and this will be a beautiful way of them being able to take Game 5. Maybe a little bit late for them to have taken their third game, but still potential for them to do so. See, still early in this game, so we'll see what they can do. We'll see what the six-man battalion can do off the back of that.
Exactly right. There's definitely potential for six-man battalions to get back into this match. They will be feeling very confident after their previous two series wins, bringing us to yet another Game 5 sorry, not overtime, but a Game 5 situation in this best-of-5 match. So good job to them as we see Delusion now looking to catch up with Steve, who does get a touch down but can't quite cut the angle. Frenzy was looking for that midfield pass but didn't get it. The ball still working in favor of Kia now, who puts it down. Almost a good shot, but will not put it into the goal line.
Oh. Early challenges coming out from Steve. He's got the touch. The goal's open. Never mind. Lurky is there. He is waiting. He is lurking, ready to get that save going. He takes it down the other end. Has enough boost to take it, but he's not going to be able to maintain control of it. And Kia goes for the challenge.
Kia does go for the challenge, but the ball now in favor of Steve, who's looking to challenge the ball very, very quickly. A little pop there by Daisu, but Steve taking the ball away from his teammate there in Frenzy. That could have been an opportunity, but no blood lost as Frenzy almost getting a connection onto that just to get a second goal. Still plenty of time on this clock with 3 minutes remaining, and we still have a lead in favor for Max's Rancid Rats. But if anything has shown in the previous two matches, this is not a comfortable position for them to be in, as though there is a bit of a team bump there. Daisu just not being in the right place. He overcommitted in the play, trying to cut out from the pass from Steve, as you can see there, but just a bit of indecision.
Yeah, Daisu, unfortunate spot to be caught in. He tries to save the ball, but it does give the Rancid Rats a 2-goal advantage. Very comfortable for them, but still 3 minutes remaining on these. Look, a goal per minute. I do think the six-man battalion is capable, though.
Oh, for sure. They definitely can get a goal per minute. It's definitely on the cards, but they need to figure out this kickoff at the moment, because if they continue to leak lives or leak goals in this manner, then it could potentially be a bigger scoreline than 3-0. And we see Steve once again getting the win there. Another shot, but doesn't manage to put it on by Delusion, and that could have been an extended lead up to 4 goals, but a bit of saving grace there for six-man battalions. But still, they need to focus on just managing their rotation, getting back to a solid line for them to hold on defense. But for now, Rats are looking very, very confident to close out this Game 5.
Yeah, they definitely are, but the ball goes right in front of the net, and they do have to be very careful. Never mind, Lurky takes it. He's around the corner.
There we go, a bit of a lifeline there for the six-man's team, as we see a bit of an awkward touch there by Frenzy, a bit uncharacteristic from him, but it does allow Lurky to get back into this match and get his first goal for his team. So 2-goal deficit, 2 minutes and 25 seconds in this best of 5. Just a reminder that both these teams have qualified for the mini league, and this is for the $30 prize pool that is on the line right now. Steve slowing down the play, goes for a nice little flick over one, but can't get it past Kia, and now the counter attack is on. Kia has the mid boost, tries to play for the corner play, but gets beaten out by Frenzy, who hasn't got a lot of boost, but still manages to touch. The bump, the play there, and that was amazing.
Look, I think that was just a little bit of confusion coming out from the rest of the team. See, Frenzy gets a touch. Beautiful. A team bump off the back of it, and Dice is like, what is happening in front of me? Doesn't really focus too much on the ball, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to stop that ball. 4 for 1 in favor of the Rancid Rats. They take another 3-goal advantage.
They do indeed, and that's the hardest thing about teams at this high caliber, is that you do expect them to manage to hit those kinds of plays, those team passing plays in the midfield, and when they don't, it almost throws you off more than if they were to hit the ball. And that's where Daisu was left in a bit of a hesitation mode, because he expected that play to come, that didn't, and now we see them again on the goal line. This time though, they're able to capitalize on the open net and bring it back to a 2-goal scoreline.
Yeah, they take those easy. They capitalize on the 3-member commit, and Lurky, he's all the way up there. Kia may have actually tried to steal that one. Little cheeky goal steal, but he wasn't able to do so. Lurky was supersonic already, unfortunate for Ukia. But 2-goal difference, 1 minute and a half remaining on the clock, definitely possible. It's a game of Rocket League.
Exactly, anything can happen at the drop of a hat. It only takes a couple of seconds to get a goal, so plenty of opportunity for six-man battalions to bring this back and have a potential Game 5 overtime again, but it's going to be a tall ask against the Rats, who are looking very, very confident at the moment. Steve actually coming off the roof there, but couldn't quite connect on the play. Delusion taking over from the play. There's a bit of an open net opportunity. Lurky's just lurking in the wrong position, and Delusion managing to get his second goal for the night.
Yeah, Steve just shadows that ball, makes sure that if the goalkeeper was trying to get anywhere near that ball, if the goalkeeper actually got a touch onto it, he was right there to make sure the dunk was possible.
Exactly, the dunk was there by Steve, so good backing up for a teammate there, but solid plays here from the Rats, who now extend the lead again to 3, and there's now a minute remaining, so it's looking more and more dire as the seconds tick down for the six-man battalion team. Rancid just going for a little bit of an interesting play there, a bit of a confidence play as time does tick down, but there's zero risk with having members back there for his team. Play there by Daze, who goes for the strong dunk and gets it, giving life back to his team.
Yeah, a lot of pace on that ball, but that's what happens when a somewhat of a pinch happens there. Sure, you can count it as a pinch. 40 seconds left on the clock. Do you think that they can bring this one back, Son of Jupiter?
I mean, definitely. There's still definitely a potential for them to bring this back. It's just whether now they can have the opportunity. That will be the question, but there's only, like I said, a couple of seconds to take for a goal, so they need to get one now to give themselves time for a kickoff goal. But as every second ticks down, it becomes less and less likely. We see Frenzy flying to this ball, faking the challenge, leaving it for Delusion to put the nail in the coffin, and 3 goals in 18 seconds does look like a mammoth task.
The amount of times that I honestly think that was an intentional whiff coming out from Frenzy. The amount of times they do that and that jukes out six-man's battalion, I feel like it's just throwing them off a little bit too much.
It is. It definitely is. And, you know, those intentional whiffs, those intentional plays where you leave, just throw the players off so much more, because you just expect at this level that everyone's going to hit the ball. But, you know, that does work into their favor now. We're getting down to the final seconds of this match. 3-goal deficit for the side of six-man battalion. 3-goal lead for Max's Rancid Rats, and that will be all that she wrote. Max's Rancid Rats will be credited with the $30 prize pool and also going through as the #1 seed for the Day 2 qualifier. But like I said earlier on, it is going to be Rats and six-man battalions going through to our mini league series, which will start next week, along with the following teams: Hazard, Trash, and Southern Stars, who qualified last week, and of course Relentless, who went through in our tiebreaker today. So very, very well done to all teams. Congratulations to all those who did qualify. GG's to all those that didn't. Obviously, it was amazing to have such high quality games, and to have 2 best of 5s as well was always amazing to cast.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting game that we saw in that 3rd place match as well. Best of 5, went to 5 games, 2 overtimes. That was such an intense moment. I was just at the edge of my seat. I was like, guys, this ain't even the finals. But I mean, you sort of have to do that if you want. You sort of have to put that ferocity into your gameplay if you are if you're going for a qualifying spot in the mini league. So definitely a massive congratulations to Relentless to taking that game over Fury, and to every other team that has qualified for this game or for the mini series.
Exactly. GG's to everyone qualified. Just a bit of a rundown for what's happening with the mini league series. It is a round robin mini league series, so every team will have the opportunity to play against each other. So there'll be 5 matches over 2 weeks that we will play, and we will be looking to bring you all the quality action each week, and then we'll obviously have our final series in a few weeks' time. But that will be all for us tonight. We don't have any more Rocket League content to bring you, but please do stick around for whoever we go on raid and host, because obviously we're going to not steer you in the wrong direction. We'll definitely put you to a great content creator straight after this. couple of quick shout outs for everybody. Obviously, massive thank you to the production team in Jimmy, Luna, and Payback. They've been here for quite some time behind the scenes, obviously setting up the broadcast, the bracket, and everything else in between. So thank you to them. And obviously a massive shout out to my co-caster, Tico, for being the god that he is.
Thank you so much, Son of Jupiter, as well as a massive thank you to our amazing host, Son of Jupiter. Go check him out on Twitter, as well as me, Tico, too, on Twitter. Son of Jupiter AU, I believe that's what your Twitter handle is.
It is.
Yeah, go check him out. Make sure you follow the BlueBird rivals as well, and then join the Discord if you feel like you want to get in on the action. But I think that's all we have for today, Son of Jupiter.
It is indeed. That is us from that is good night from us. Have a great afternoon and also a good weekend as well. And be sure to tune in for next week for some quality gameplay. Catch you later.